All right, guys. Well, while he gets set up, let's go ahead and take it away. Welcome back to Reach Out Reptiles. My name is Garrett Hartle, and this week we're going to chat it up with JT Tennison, who is this giant blue blob here apparently. Oh, there he is. Okay. You know, JT and I actually share one thing in common, and that is that at one point both of us shared the same position and job at Prehistoric Pets out in Fountain Valley, California. So JT actually reached out to me. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your page?
So basically I just started Sophisticated Serpents, just focusing on breeding some really high quality animals, trying to follow in Garrett's footsteps a bit with the Super Dwarfs there, and then doing a lot of ball pythons, some venomous reptiles a little bit with the crotalus species, and then we're looking at getting into some of the arboreal stuff as well.
Sophisticated Serpents page on Facebook. So you guys will have to check it out there for the full interview. But yeah, let's go ahead. What did you want to talk about?
Okay, so kind of, because obviously you're like the king of Super Dwarfs, so I definitely wanted to get your opinions on quite a few things. And I always have people asking me stuff some of it's actually kind of hard to answer. But to kind of get started, what's, in your opinion, what are kind of the biggest misconceptions on these subspecies that we call dwarfs and super dwarfs that many people have? Oh
man, that's a big question. The misconceptions on dwarf and super dwarfs. Well, all right, man, that was an awesome interview. Thank you so much for doing that. You guys, if you want to hear me talk in this video, you're gonna have to go over to JT's channel on Facebook with Sophisticated Serpents. Let me start off just by asking you this. What is your greatest takeaway having worked at Prehistoric Pets? What was the greatest thing that you learned? Take that question however you want.
I think the greatest thing I learned is I do not want a large collection. It was always something when I was like getting into this, I was like, oh, I want a big warehouse with a ton of adult retics. And then, you know, after going through that, I kind of realized, you know, I definitely want to keep my collection a little smaller. I would say.
You worked for Bob Clark and Jay Brewer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Two kind of different styles of breeding. It was actually a great experience learning from both of them. They do things very, very differently. Almost on like opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's cool to see all the work that goes into these morphs. I saw for years and realizing, hey, this doesn't, you know, pop up overnight. This is, you know, 4 or 5, sometimes, you know, 12 years. Tim told me about projects that goes into seeing these like amazing animals, and something you don't really realize until you see it and realize, wow, this is really a decade of someone's life that went into it.
It's interesting you say that, because that's probably, it's very similar to what my takeaway was, and I learned a lot of stuff, but I think the biggest one was just how important it is to keep expenses low.
Yeah.
So having a smaller collection is a big part of that, but there were times when, you know, sales are a little bit slow, but those snakes still have to eat. You still gotta buy bedding, you know, and if you do get really big and you have employees, you have payroll you gotta pay. So as the guy that was responsible for, you know, the sales of the retics, that was always a heavy weight on my shoulders. So that was mine too. It was like, anything I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure to keep expenses absolutely as low as possible, because it means a better quality of life for myself and the animals.
Exactly. Yeah. People think it's such a dream, and then you actually realize it's so much hard work to maintain a collection that size.
Right. It's just like I was saying in the interview, you know, like I like watching an elephant at the zoo. I don't want to bring one home. So yeah, it's a serious commitment and something that should not be lightly taken, for sure.
No, and that's a lot why I went after more smaller snakes after working there. I used to love mainland, and I still have quite a few, but I definitely, you know, the rest I want to be quite a bit smaller. So.
Okay, well, let's learn a little bit more about you, okay? So what's your goal with that? Are you going to try to do this full time, or is it going to be more on the hobby level?
I'm pretty much going to try to do it full time. I have a couple other things going for me right now, so I finally kind of have the time to do it. And I really want to do the Super Dwarf stuff. There's a couple genes, such as like anthrax combos, I just always wanted to see Super Dwarf crossed into. It's going to be a long time, but it's definitely kind of a project that I have the heads coming right now. So it'll be a long, like 8 years, 10 years before I can make anything, but definitely projects like that is what I'm trying to focus on at the moment.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be really cool. Let's get into this lightning round. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, drink of choice, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Last book you read?
So Game of Thrones, the first book. So.
First book of Game of Thrones. Okay.
Yeah.
How about, this can be any species at all, what is your favorite genetic mutation of all time?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'd have to say, I think either albino Crotalus atrox or the anthrax tigers, I would have to say, with retics.
Any particular combo in anthrax that you really like? Or just the anthrax pattern itself?
Just the tiger anthrax, I think. It's simple, but it's just beautiful to me.
That's funny. You like the tigers. It is that head to tail stripe. I'm totally the opposite. I really like the sunfire anthrax because of the way that it bands them. It wraps around, from top to bottom pattern rather than front to back. So, to each his own. Has some cool personal preferences. All right. How about what is your biggest pet peeve in life?
That's a hard one. I don't have very many. I would say just chewing. It's kind of the only thing that annoys me is people chewing. It's a weird one, but yeah, that's about it for me.
Not for me. That's my wife's big one. She looks at you disgusting when you chew food. I'm like, hey, you chew food too.
That's what my wife always reminds me. So.
All right. So, what is your dream job?
My dream job, I have to say, would be have like my own fishing charter.
Fishing charter. You have been working too long at Prehistoric Pets.
It rubbed off on me a bit.
I could definitely see that being an awesome lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, how about your celebrity crush?
Aubrey Plaza. That would have to be.
Aubrey Plaza. Is that the girl from Parks and Rec? The weird one?
Yeah.
You're the second person who said that on my channel. That's funny.
Good taste, so.
Okay. How about a non-reptile hobby?
Surfing. I'm really, really into big wave surfing stuff.
Big wave surfing. Okay. Yeah. Do you travel much for that at all?
I used to quite a bit. Since I got married, it's been a little bit less, but I got a couple of trips planned this year that should be a lot of fun. So. Okay,
nice. Well, you need to just go to like Bali one of these years or something, and then you can do the retics and find all the reptiles in the wild.
Actually, it's always been a dream to kind of do both in one trip. So.
How about a surprising skill you have? Surfing kind of goes with that, but...
Probably my breath hold. I'm a free diver and I can hold my breath for about 5 minutes. That's always kind of a weird one.
Jeez.
I can hold full stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a really good one. All right. Best advice for somebody that wants to get into the reptile industry as a job?
The best advice I would say was to always kind of go into it with like your own expectations of what you want to learn out of it, and when you're doing it as work, it's really easy to kind of lose sight of why you're doing it. So to always kind of keep your mind on why you got into this, what you loved about it in the first place, and every day you have a rough day or a day where you work, a 12, 13-hour day, to kind of keep that in mind on what you love and to keep your passion strong. So
pretty sure that's where that hashtag living the dream came from.
Yeah.
What is your favorite music album?
Stadium Arcadium, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
There you go. Very Californian answer.
Yeah.
What's the most unique place you've ever visited?
Probably just the Midwest, because it was probably the strangest place. Oklahoma, strangest place I've ever been to, but...
That's... okay. Let's say I were to hand you $100,000 cash. What would you do with that money?
I would travel to Australia and then some of the different islands off Indonesia and pretty much spearfish and look for reptiles.
Okay.
That's like a year doing that, yeah.
Convert it to some experiential stuff. I like it. That's kind of my thing too. What is the most life-altering event you've ever experienced personally?
Probably I almost drowned at one point. I blacked out while freediving. Was unconscious for half hour, and that was probably my most life-altering kind of moment. So,
wow, did somebody have to pull you from the water?
Yeah, I was going with a buddy, and he had to get me back conscious. But that was probably one of the weirder things that's happened to me.
Wow. Okay. Pushing that 5-minute mark, huh?
Yeah.
So, what's your biggest fear?
Weirdly enough, drowning.
You think it has something to do with that experience?
It's always my whole life I've been afraid of drowning. Always been my worst fear, which is kind of what drew me to surfing and freediving and all that. So.
Ah, okay. Push against it, huh? What is your ultimate goal for your reptile keeping then? You said your dream job would be chartering a fishing boat, right?
Yeah. So,
is that something you actually would want to work towards, or are you just going to go ahead and leave that be a dream and work the reptiles?
Oh, I always want to keep, the reptiles, but sometimes it's it's a job, but I try to view it, more as a hobby is how I'd like to do it long term. But probably my biggest reptile goal, I have to say, would be able to do it to kind of sustain the actual amount of animals I'd like to keep, and to be able to see some of the like big morph crosses, like blue hypo anthrax and stuff, be crossed over into super dwarf. So
all right, well, that's all I have for you, other than you're interested in the dwarf and retic, dwarf and super dwarf retic stuff as well. So do you have any tips or advice for us, or anything that we can learn from you from, or a message to our viewers and stuff, maybe thinking about getting into some of the dwarf and super dwarf stuff?
My best message would be to, as you talked about so well in my interview, is to really learn who you're getting it from. One of my biggest mistakes was I must have bought like 15 super dwarf animals, and it turned out when I traced back their lineage, there were 2 that were actually super dwarfs.
Wow.
The rest were fantastic. Yeah, so the rest now are pretty much just pets, but so that's my biggest advice, is buy from established breeders. You might be paying more, but you're getting, in 4 years, you know what you're going to have when you breed it, compared to if you buy second or third hand, you really don't know what you're getting. That's
crazy. Yeah, I think that's a good one too. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on and then having me on your channel and stuff. It's been a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again maybe sometime. I'll make it back out to California and we can meet up and do this kind of thing over lunch or something.
Absolutely, man. It's been great talking to you. Have a great day, guys.
You guys have a good one. Thank you guys very much for watching. We will catch you next time.